South Carolina deserves to have a little bit more attention paid their way, if you ask me. Okay, so they beat Virginia Tech, and it wasn't like they just blew the doors off Tech. It was a win. They covered all those things. But the things that I saw from South Carolina in that spot, to me, was a little bit eye-opening. Like everything we said about LaNorris Sellers during the offseason, it's very easy for us to get lost in the sauce of the offseason conversation and talk yourself into LaNorris Sellers because you finished the season so strong. But like LaNorris Sellers came out and was playing at the level to some degree in moments of what we said he was going to be this season. Now, let me say this. Still a long way to go. Still a lot of plays that you would like to have back. The safety was atrocious. Had a strip sack that probably should have been a costly turnover for them. But I keep going back to this. When I watch LaNorris Sellers play, I get a similar vibe that I got when watching college football legends play the game. And that's hyperbolic in the way that it sounds. It's a real statement. Like, whenever you watch LaNorris Sellers drop back, the longer the play goes, don't you feel like something good is about to happen? You don't get that with every other player. Sometimes you got a young quarterback back there, and he's dropping back, and you see pressure, he's scrambling. When I see LaNorris Sellers scramble around, I'm like, okay, something big is about to happen. He's about to make a throw. He's about to run for a first down, maybe more. He's got that special quality to him, and you saw it in this spot. You saw at the end of the game where he spins out of a tackle and runs for a first down to put the game on ice. You saw him run for a touchdown and a design quarterback run early in the game. Like, he's got the special quality, and it is the carryover from last year. It wasn't just like a Crowember fling watching LaNorris Sellers play football. It's something that has stood the test of the offseason and now carries into another year. And what makes me excited from a South Carolina fan, yeah, you knew he could do that. But I think you see LaNorris Sellers almost play like he knows he can do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have everybody else say that you're the guy and say all these great things about you. LaNorris Sellers is playing like he believes that about himself. Like, even go back to the safety. It was a mistake for sure, but it was a mistake honestly coming from a place of like, no, I believe that I can duck my head, get through this pile, or make something happen, pop out the other side, make something happen with my legs. Now, he didn't, and that's unfortunate. 2 points is a bad play for South Carolina the other way, but I do think that the level of like progress you see from him in terms of the swagger and confidence, all those things, that to me stuck out during this game. Now, did he light up the scoreboard? Did he light up the box score? Not really, but I saw progress in the level at which he played and also saw progress in which the way he carried himself, if you will. Now, that's one part of it. You knew that was going to be there for South Carolina, or at least if you felt any way about South Carolina in a positive manner, that was a big part of your equation you were trying to factor in. But we said this during the offseason. It's about the sides for me for South Carolina. Like, if you're still going to a barbecue restaurant and there's crossing off no more ribs, no more chicken, but you're still there for the wings, you're still there for the mac and cheese, you're still there for the okra, guess what? That's a sustainable restaurant. That's probably going to be a go-to restaurant here. That's probably going to be a place that you can take the family to every other graduation. Like, that to me for South Carolina is what jumped out during this game. Because even with Sellers looking good in moments, I was impressed with Nicholas Harbor. One spring playing ball and not running track, 3 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Could have maybe been 2 touchdowns, depending on that replay review and how the whole thing went. Okay, look out for South Carolina. Rasul Faison didn't even really get that many touches. Saw him in spurts, making things happen. Had a nice little gain he ripped off there around the edge, and you saw what he could be in that backfield with Sellers when he really gets rolling. On the defensive side, Brian Thomas applied some pressure, big 46. Now, you lost Kennard, so there's no easy replace there, but if he's able to just apply pressure opposite of Dylan Stewart, and they can be 2 guys you got to worry about, okay, South Carolina could be one of those teams. So going back to the offensive side, I don't think you need to have like 10 game breakers for South Carolina to be a team that wins 10 games and finds himself in the playoff. I think you need to have guys that can capitalize on all the attention that Sellers is getting throughout the course of a game. Because you go back and watch that thing, man, there's a lot of plays to be had because of how worried a defense is that 16 is just going to burn them. Now, 16 did burn them in different spots, but there was a play where South Carolina ran it a couple of times. There is the running a lot on College Football 26. It's a read option with a flat pattern attached to it from the tight end or a slot receiver, whoever you want to put out there. And there were so many times where that play was just wide the heck open off of the mesh for LaNorris Sellers to flip it out to his guy in the flat, because you got linebackers and safeties adding in like it's a Black Friday sale getting to the ball because they're worried about 16 taking off and hurting them for 45 yards and a touchdown. So when I can just flip it out to my guy in space and have a ton of real estate, Sellers creates angles for ball carriers on the read option game, and he creates real estate for his receivers in the passing game. So if you can have guys that maximize that, i.e. Harbor, i.e. Amazio Bennett, I mean, go down the line there, whoever you want to plug and play there for that next level of the equation for the South Carolina offense, that's where South Carolina gets really, really freaking tough to stop. So that's one part of it. But the last thing I want to mention here, well, I think South Carolina maybe needs a little bit more attention nationally. You already saw the Shane Beamer effect in week 1. And what I mean by that is what we said all offseason. There's going to be a lot of situations where South Carolina wins football games and it doesn't totally track. Like I told you, Sellers played well, he progressed, all those things. Didn't have the best day at the office. Like offense played fine, but like a punt return touchdown was really what I think allowed South Carolina to start to gain some momentum and eventually put them away in the fourth quarter with that Nick Harbor touchdown. It's going to be a thing where different parts of this team just happen to step up. In a Shane Beamer fashion, it was special teams this game. Maybe one game it's a defensive touchdown. Maybe it's somebody you haven't talked about yet on the offensive side stepping up. Like all those parts of the Shane Beamer system, it's hard to depend on them until you see it frequently enough under Shane Beamer. He's been at South Carolina to where now I think we can depend on them, if that makes sense. Like it only is tough to track until we see it repetitively and we're like, hey, actually, we weren't talking about Dylan Stewart before the season last year. We weren't talking about Xavier Legette a couple of years ago when he popped and had an incredible year for South Carolina. Like the guys that we don't know about, oftentimes for South Carolina, end up popping. And sometimes it's just college football, but it feels like it's not just a sometimes thing for South Carolina. It feels like they do it a lot. So for South Carolina, they deserve more attention. They're going to be a force here in 2025, and I think they need more attention here going into 2025 as a whole now. So excited to watch them the rest of the way, but Sellers looks good. The non-negotiables look good for the defense. The unquantifiables look good for the team. We'll see. All I'm saying is we'll see when it comes to South Carolina. All right?